It's time for another Retro Dealer Dud, and today we're going to be looking at one of my latest retro pickups. And a lot of PC enthusiasts consider this to be one of the best gaming computers of the 80s. And I'm talking about the Tandy 1000SX. So, at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you exactly how much I paid, and you put down in the comments, was it a retro deal or dud? This video is sponsored by PCBWay. So why do I have PCBWay sponsor me? Because they just do a great job. The PCB manufacturing and assembly is awesome. They also have good quality assurance for their boards. They have speed. They're very quick on the turnaround time. Give you great service, exclusive customer support, and solve problems quickly. They have a great community, which I love. All these cool projects out there, so for anyone at any skill level can do these things. And they actually listen to feedback, and that's what I like about PCBWay. So if you haven't checked them out yet, go shop PCBWay.com. Why would I want to get a Tandy 1000SX in the first place? It all started when I purchased a large box of floppies off of eBay.
Do you know anything about floppy disks?
And in the box, it had half Commodore 64 original floppies, which I really wanted, and the other half, it had IBM floppies. And I didn't own anything that would allow me to play the IBM floppies, so I started to do a little research on what I would need to be able to play these floppies, and I found out about the IBM PCjr. So I read how it was kind of just a complete failure, but Tandy made a clone called the Tandy 1000 that came out, and it was everything that the PCjr was not. So I had my eye on a Tandy 1000 on the marketplace, and I was searching one of the Facebook groups, and I came across the Tandy 1000SX. So I reached out and I asked if it was available, and he said that someone already had a bid on it, but if it fell through, he'd get back with me. And I was like, dang, I missed out on this one. I told him to put me on the list, and if the deal fell through, just let me know. So the next day, the guy came, messaged me, told me the other buyer backed out so I could have it if I wanted it. And then I did, of course, and that's how I got my Tandy 1000XX.
Excellent!
So let's look at it. I always love when I get an original box of retro computer. It makes me feel like it's more complete, and checking out the original stickers on the box if they have any. And this Tandy 1000XX came from Radio Shack. It's from Blue Springs, Missouri, and they got it on 3/9 of 1988. So let's go ahead and take it out of the box and let's check out this Tandy. So this is my new Tandy SX1000. This is exactly what came with it. It came with the Tandy SX Quick Reference 1000. And then it also came with a practical guide to the Tandy SX 1000, pretty thick book with a lot of information. And then of course it also came with the diskette organizer. And inside the diskette organizer comes with 4 floppies. And if you didn't know, the Tandy SX 1000 is DOS-based, so I had to go back and remember how to use a DOS-based system and the different commands, and I enjoy it. I think it's fun, but this one has where you boot up into DOS, has some supplemental programs, has DeskMate 2 included with it. So this was all what was sent in that box. So now let's look at the Tandy 1000SX. It was released in 1987, and it was an enhanced version of the original Tandy 1000, a clone of IBM PCjr. And the 1000SX allowed you to upgrade and expand the PC to be more accessible and faster. The case is smaller compared to an IBM PC, and it's also plastic, which makes it much lighter. And on the bottom left, we have this large red reset button. Next to it, you have the keyboard port, and then you have 2 joystick ports. So you got your 5 1/4 floppy right here. It has a place for a dual bay floppy, your ventilation, and then you got these 2 screws, and I'm going to remove those screws and take a look on the inside here shortly. Now let's look at the back side of the Tandy 1000SX. Starting from left to right, we have the standard 3-prong power connector. Then you have the printer port. Next is that seldom used light pen connector. And then you have the monitor connector for connecting the RGB monitors. The Tandy 1000XX can actually output standard CGA and TGA modes, which allows 16 colors on the screen. And then next to that is the built-in video and audio jacks. The red jack looks like stereo, but it's for connecting to a TV. I tried some of my Commodore monitors and they did not look good. The text just didn't look right at all. I love this monitor that I got, and if you saw my past retro dealer dud, you see the monitor that I'm using with this system. So I'm going to go ahead and take these screws off so we can check this out on the inside. And you just remove these two screws right at the front. They made it really simple to take the cover off. So now we remove those two screws, we just lift off the front case. Be very careful here. Easy enough, right? Just take the two screws out, put that down very carefully.
Yikes! What is that?
I'm going to set this back down so we can look at it. You can see the speaker, which uses the 3 voice channels. And then you also see this metal bar going across the motherboard, and it's there to support the monitor, which normally sits on top, is how they had them set back up in the 80s. Now the 1000SX uses an 808 and runs at 7.16 megahertz. The RAM's 384K, but it can go up to 64K. So now that you've seen everything and what's all on this computer, put it all back together, let's test it out. Let's make sure it works. I got my MS-DOS floppy right here, so I'm going to put that floppy in and get this thing turned on. Memory size 384K. So I'm basically directly right into DOS and can put our DOS commands in here, and this is where I could load up games and so forth. I did pick up this joystick that works with it. It's a Tandy joystick. Specifically, their plugs only work for the Tandy. Felt I needed a joystick so I could play some of these floppies and be able to play it right, even though I could play some of them with the keyboard. I have not tested out all these floppies, but I have tested out a few games. So I'm going to load up a few of the games that I know that work and show you the guys what it looks like and just a little bit of playing around with it before we get this video completed. She's loud. It's definitely not a quiet machine. So again, this is all brand new to me, so I am not the Yoda of this machine. I would be more like the Luke Skywalker of this machine, just learning about it. Never had one before. In fact, I had a buddy who had one of these when I was a kid. He didn't know how to get games like I did for the Commodore, so he always wanted to play my Commodore because he didn't have really anything to play for his Tandy. So I always thought that was interesting, that even though this one was probably more expensive, in the end, the Commodore always won out, and he always wanted to go to my house to play it. So I'm going to load this up. We're going to try out the Amazing Spider-Man. So as you can see with this game, it has the different video modes that you could select, where I have the Tandy 4 color or the Tandy 16 color. I'm going to hit 5. See if I can load 16. This is the Amazing Spider-Man from 1990. It came out on the Commodore 64 and the Amiga, and then it was ported over to the PC, and it looks great on this Tandy 1000SX. And I'll show you a little bit of the gameplay. If y'all have any suggestions on which games I should try out on the Tandy 1000SX, I'd love to hear from you. Also would love to hear, if you own a Tandy 1000SX, what updates and upgrades have you done to your system to make it more current and give you access to more different games to play. So let's get this video wrapped up. So that's the Tandy 1000SX, and I hope you enjoyed this video. You want to know how much I paid for it, and what I paid was $200, and I think it was well worth it. Would you pay $200 for it? I want you to put down in the comments, was it a retro deal or a dud? Love playing these old floppies, learning DOS again, and just messing around with this old computer. It just brings out back great memories, and it was just a blast to get this one. And if you've got any advice of what I can do with this Tandy 1000SX, I would love to hear that down in the comments too. So Floppy Deep Dive has turned 2 years old. Yep, I've been putting out videos for 2 years now, and I hope you enjoyed them. And if you haven't seen them yet, go back and watch them. But I'm going to continue to making videos for many, many more years, and I appreciate all the support you guys give me, especially my patrons and all those in the community that post every time. You guys know who you are. I appreciate it so much, and that's what makes this all worth it and fun for me. If you like this retro dealer dud, check out this video. I think you'll like it too.
But that was awesome.